Good evening and welcome to Full Day, your late night show on Signature TV. I'm Vinmartin Obiroa. I'm glad as always to have you here. And tonight we are focusing on the youth. We are focusing on the incoming youth conference that is entitled Raising the Total Leader. But tonight I'll be joined by two youthful Nigerians, two Nigerians that are involved in bringing the youth together to discuss how we can raise the total leader in Nigeria. First on my bill tonight is Ikem Nonaga, National Coordinator, Transformational Leaders Movement. And he and I will be talking about empowering the Nigerian youth for transformational leadership. Ikem, you're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Nice being here.
And we'll be joined later by Agonsi Uche Kuntash, who is the Chairman Planning Committee of next Saturday's conference, Raising the Total Leader. He is already in the studio and will be joining me later. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll look at the trending stories of today. Trending tonight, President Bola Tinubu has directed an immediate overhaul of national security strategies and end to the escalating violence in Borno, Benue, Plateau, and Kwara states. Tinubu met with security chiefs at the State House, Abuja, for more than 2 hours, said the killing of innocent people in the country must cease. The National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, told State House correspondents that the service chiefs briefed the president on all the attacks in the states, the death toll, and the destruction of property. He said the president ordered a new approach to tackling the security challenges and gave the security chiefs the chance to come and brief him again. The NSA said the president highlighted the need to involve the local councils and state governments more in tackling cases of insecurity. Trending tonight also, the governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodimma, has given commercial drivers operating with tinted windows 72 hours to remove them or face legal consequences. This directive was announced in a press release issued by the Chief Press Secretary and Special Advisor on Media to the Governor, Oguwike Nwachukwu. He said law enforcement agencies have been instructed to support government officials in enforcing the order since the deadline expires. The crackdown follows numerous reports linking tinted commercial vehicles, especially buses, to criminal activities across the state. Nwachukwu warned that violators will be prosecuted after the 72-hour grace period, serving as a deterrent to others who might ignore the new rule. The National Human Rights Commission, NHRC, and the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, NACA, has called for the local production of HIV/AIDS test kits and medications as a strategic response to recent funding shortfalls impacting the fight against the disease. The call was made during the opening session of a 3-day stakeholder engagement on the review and implementation of anti-discrimination programs under the HIV and AIDS Anti-Discrimination Act of 2014, held Wednesday in Lagos, which brought together key stakeholders and dignitaries from across the country. Speaking at the event, NHRC Executive Secretary Dr. Tony Ojukwu highlighted the urgent need for enhanced research and development towards local production of antiretroviral drugs and medical supplies. Ojukwu further called on the Nigerian government to demonstrate greater commitment by increasing the national health budget, noting that the responsibility to eliminate discrimination against people living with HIV/AIDS must not rest solely with the federal government. Also speaking at the forum, Deputy Director of Community and Prevention Care Services at NACA, Dr. Chukwugozie Ojam, provided insights into the agency's ongoing efforts in the fight against HIV and AIDS. Ojam reported that Nigeria has made significant progress with HIV prevalence rates seeing a substantial decline, and emphasized that NACA is now shifting its strategic focus from treatment to prevention, aiming to forestall any resurgence of the disease. Also trending tonight, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday condemned the deadly militant attacks in Kashmir, where police have identified 2 of the gunmen as Pakistani. At a rally in the eastern Indian state of Bihar, Modi folded his hands in prayer in remembrance for the 26 men who were shot and killed in Amido in the Pahalgam region of Indian Kashmir. Modi then vowed to pursue, track, and punish those responsible in the attack, drawing thunderous applause from thousands of supporters. Meanwhile, in New Delhi, thousands protested outside Pakistani's High Commission, demanding action over a deadly militant attack. Modi's comments are, however, bound to further inflame ties between the nuclear-armed rivals after India downgraded ties with Pakistan late on Wednesday, suspending a 6-decade-old water treaty. We'll take a break. When we return, Honorable Ikenna Onaga will be talking to Full Day. If you're just joining us, you're watching Full Day, your late night show on Signature TV. My guest tonight, actually my first guest tonight, is Ikenna Onaga, National Coordinator of Transformational Leaders Movement. And one of the reasons why Ikenna is here tonight is because his movement is bringing youth together on the 26th of April 2025 at the International Conference Center in Enugu to talk about how to raise the total leader. You're welcome, Ikenna, once again.
Thank you. Nice being here.
Yeah. It's so easy to say, let's raise the total leader. What will be your prescription? How this very difficult task can be carried out?
Okay, thank you once again. Nice being in the studio today. Raising the total leader, the concept behind that is that we came up with the idea there are 4 cardinal things that makes a leader. There are 4 cardinal things that makes a leader. Number 1 is your intellectual capability. Number 2 is your financial state of a leader. Number 3 is your spiritual state, and the last is the emotional state. And that's the 4 major things we are going to tackle in this year's summit by gathering hundreds of youth all over the Federation in Enugu here. So today we are going to be talking about some of the aspects how we intend doing that, or how we've been doing it, because this is actually our 4th edition, right? Number 1, we believe in mentorship. Every leader is a product of mentorship. If you tell me you are leading and I say, who is your mentor? You say, I don't have a mentor, I'm afraid of you. Because you must have a root where we are coming from. So this youth is actually a school. It's just a leadership school we are building, but we're just starting from the scratch and all that. So we believe in mentorship. We are gathering these youth. We've been doing this for years now. We don't just gather them for one day and leave them. We engage them after the conference. We train them, we pass through all kinds of mentorship. We pass them through those that, because when we talk about leadership, we're not just talking about political leadership. That's not our only concern. We're talking about business leadership. We're talking about family leadership. We're talking about financial leadership. We're talking about entertainment leadership. We're talking about a holistic view to leadership. So we have a mentorship school where we keep these people. We have people that have been, because we found out that any road you want to pass through in life, somebody has been there. For instance, you've had that journey on the newscasting and NBC, everything that has to do with, you have that. So if somebody has similar passion, all we need to do is just to bring the person under your mentorship, and the person will run faster. When you want to go through political leadership, all we need to do is to bring someone that is under there. So number 1 thing I will talk about for now is about mentorship. We intend having a mentorship school where we train all these people. Thank you.
Okay, Ikenna. What are the challenges? Of course, Agonsi Uche Kuntash is joining me later to talk about, in detail, about what we're expecting to see on Saturday during the conference. But tell me, what are the challenges you and your colleagues have had in trying, to empower youths, in trying to train them or bring them under mentorship? What are the challenges you have faced in doing that?
Okay, we have numerous challenges in doing this movement for the past 4 years now. One of them is apathy. youth apathy in the sense that our youths, they don't feel like what interests us is not what interests them. You need to make them see reason why they have to get involved in what you are doing. They don't have that passion to lead. And youth of today want it now. But we are talking about mentorship. It takes a while for you to get to the position where you are now. You didn't just wake up and just saw yourself here. You went through a process, and today you are where you are now. So first of all, the youth of today, they don't have that passion to go through that mentorship. Number two, it goes with, for instance, when you call them this particular summit you are arranging, they will be like, I hope people will share money when we come there and all that. You tell them they are coming to give them what is, they don't want to hear that one. So part of our constraint is finances, because it will interest you to know that this thing is self-sponsored. We are sponsoring it ourselves. Nobody. I'm glad to say it on the last. Nobody sponsors what we are doing, apart from people that have come to say, okay, we'll support with this, we'll support. But this thing is our brainchild and we're sponsoring. So part of the challenge you're having is funds. Because some of them, you finish mentoring them, you need to empower them financially to practice some of them.
Before we get there, let's talk about the apathy you talked about.
Okay.
When you're talking about apathy,
yeah,
it's like they're not believing in what you're saying. They'll say stuff like, after this training, what happens? They say stuff like, as they say in Igbo parlance, this is your mentorship, in other words, what is the financial value for it? Which I think is, besides looking for the money, is something that is psychological.
Yeah.
So how are you, giving them a new confidence, giving them a new understanding that, look, this journey is a long one. It's not 100 meters dash. It's like the 500 kilometer long distance, where you have to take a step, take a second step until you get. How do you do that? Because I think it's a psychological thing, a mental thing.
Okay. Our major focus is value reorientation. For instance, you need to work on their psychology to tell them, look, like the popular adage goes, Rome was not built in a day. Transformation does not happen overnight. Ruin of a nation does not happen overnight. We are where we are today as a nation because of things that has happened in the past. And for us to see a transformed Nigeria, we have to pass through a process. It's not automatic. It's not like washing machine. You just carry your clothes and put it inside and press one button. The next second, your clothes is out. It doesn't work that way. So we're working on their psychology. We're telling them, see, guys, we are all youths. I'm not saying youths. We are all youths, and this thing doesn't happen overnight. You have to pass through a process. But the generation we see ourselves now, they want it now. For instance, most of the challenge we are facing, they will come and tell us, they keep telling us we are the leaders of tomorrow, but we keep seeing the same old people being recycled over and over in the political sector, in the business sector. Somebody is a big man, he will carry the son, and the son will take over from there. That those of us that don't have where to fall on, what becomes of them? I tell them, see, those big men we are once poor. They built it from the scratch. So we are working on their psychology. It's called value reorientation. We've been talking to them about it. Of course, you don't expect everybody to respond to it. It is like a drug. It's not every patient they give drug in the hospital that ended up being well. Do you understand?
That responds in the same way.
Yes. You will give patient A this drug, give patient B the same drug. This one will heal faster than the other person. So we are seeing it. We are having, if we are not having results, we won't be doing this thing over the years. And we are seeing it. You see some of them, when they are given the opportunity to serve in any form of leadership, they stand out in whatever they do.
So from what you're saying, because I think I understand to a point what you're talking about the young people saying we serve their father and then we come and serve them.
Yeah.
So doesn't it need the buy-in of the older generation? For instance, working hand in hand with you, the younger people, to ensure that there is equal opportunity for every youth. Do you have that kind of collaboration with the older people, maybe older leaders, older politicians, older entrepreneurs, who you invite to mentor these children, understanding that these young people need to have equal access to leadership opportunities?
Yes, we're already doing that already. Part of what we don't encourage is when you come to our trainings, you don't come and teach us from slide. You tell us from experience what you've achieved. No, we don't entertain that.
So it's not all talk.
No, we don't come and tell the people at the media, yes, there will be slide. You can slide one, slide no. Tell us from experience what you've done. So we'll have other people coming to talk to the younger ones. That's the collaboration you're asking me of. We're already doing that already. We have younger people talking to the older people coming to talk to the younger people. And, you know, beyond the talks now, I can finish telling you, okay, I'm here to train you politically, that when I'm done, I will give you equal playground so that we contest the election and you win and all that. But deep inside of me, I'm already packaging my son to take over from there. So the value reorientation we're talking about is not just for the youth. Also, the older people also need to be reorientated. To tell them, see, listen, everybody needs to have equal playground. You don't just come and have a system whereby it must go in this particular direction so it can favor your interest.
Like a dynasty.
Yeah.
That's from father to son.
To son, to
and
grandson.
Someone is just standing there and just being a spectator.
That's the thing. So that's the system. That's what we are here to talk about. We said, no, see, everybody, it's time we start talking about competence. It's time we start talking about qualification. Are you qualified for the job? Not who do you know.
Okay.
Before we give you this thing. Because that's some of the challenges we are seeing in Nigeria of today. They will ask you, who do you know? Do you know so and so, Mr. XYZ? Do you know Mr. No. Let it be that, let all of us have, if you get it on the on merit. Down to the medical sector, down to it has eaten up everywhere. So we are working on it already. We're on it. We're having our bigger mentors.
One of the challenges that has been identified as a problem in the lives of the youths is something what you have talked about. They want it now.
Yes.
They want it like yesterday. A lot of things in our society is defined by wealth and the flaunting of wealth. Not just wealth, but flaunting it and making it look like it's so easy to, and that the only thing that matters in society is being rich. In your reorientation, does it also include reorienting the value system? You know, talking about what should matter to a young adult, not just about, and again, the journey, the process, instead of just the result or just the end point. How do you handle that aspect? Because that is what you hear from a lot of young people.
Yeah.
I mean, in the media, for instance, every young boy or girl who gets into the media, the next thing he wants to drive a flashy car, probably fly around Nigeria in private jets. The same thing happens in the media, in the film industry.
Yeah.
People are no longer interested in the values that Nollywood, for instance, should inculcate in those that watch it. What they're interested in is renting Lamborghinis, renting mansions, and flaunting it. And then these young people think that it is something you just wake up and it happens. And that's why we are hearing about all these ritual killings.
Yeah.
And young people putting their hands in a lot of things just to get rich quick.
Yeah.
How do you tackle that? Because it's a big problem with youths.
Well, like you already given answer to the question already by saying is value reorientation. Why?
Yes, I'm saying, how do you do that? What is the process in this thing you've done for 4 years? How do you attack that capsule of get rich quick, have money now, and all that?
Okay, we always tell them in all our summits, we tell them, see, any money you don't suffer to get, you can manage. And that's why research has shown that most first generation big men, their children doesn't sustain the wealth of their father. Why? Because they don't know the history of the wealth. Most times it has been proven that those that maybe my father is a very poor man and somehow I managed to make it, it's possible that my children, I will teach them the principles that got it. Then my father has built an empire. Without anything, my children just come and I carry the whole thing and give to them. There is every chances they will squander that wealth. We tell them, see, these things are done gradually. These things are comes in phases. We don't encourage them. Okay, one of the things we do that we tell them, see, wealth is not measured by how much you have. Wealth is measured by how much you give. You are not a millionaire because you have 1 million in your account. You're a millionaire because you can give out 1 million in your account without being affected. That's what happens to you. So that quick witty syndrome is something we've been working them on. And that's why skill acquisition, because that's some of the things we are going to come to. Mm-hmm. We teach them skill acquisition. If you come now and say, please give me 10,000 naira, I say, what do you need it for? I need to buy this, I need to buy that for personal consumption. I will tell you, instead of, for instance, one of them last year walked out to me and said, I need money. I'm struggling financially. I need money for that. I say, how much do you need? He said, I need 10,000 naira. I say, what? To feed your family? I said, I won't give you. Rather, I will give you 50,000 naira to go and acquire a skill that can feed you for life. Because it's better I teach you how to fish than to go to the pool, to the pond and get a fish and give you just eat for that. The next second, you're hungry again. So skill acquisition is one of the things. But these people, they are too impatient to learn a skill. They say, how can you, like the Igbo system where they call him one boy, mm-hmm. How can a human being serve a fellow human being for 7 years? Yes sir, go and do this. Yes sir, go and do that. Yes sir. No, they don't want that. They want to carry the organ's money, take off and squander the money. Live a very but no. So part of the things we are doing is that we are teaching them career development. Mm-hmm. We are teaching them mentorship. We are teaching them skill acquisition. We are teaching them networking. You have to, any place you want to go to in life, all you need to do, partner with someone that have gone through that process. You make the journey shorter.
Collaboration.
Yes, collaboration.
Partnership.
Yeah, partnership. So I want to enter into the media world. I don't know anything about media. All I need to do is to come and sit under your mentorship. All those things that took you years to learn, it's possible under 1 year. I will learn all of them. Why? Because I've come to understudy how this thing works. Instead of me going to Harvard where you went to study and travel around the whole world, I will just sit under your mentorship, sit under your tutelage just for a few months, just for a few years, and we'll all match up at the same level of intelligence.
How do you use those that are faith leaders, the churches, the mosques, okay, the clerics? Yeah. How do you use them in your program, especially the value reorientation? How do you have a partnership? Do you have a way you bring them into your conferences? Yeah. To be part of the reorienting the young people? Yeah. When I was starting my opening speech, one of the things I said that one of the things we tackle in our training is spiritual development. And you can't talk about spiritual development without bringing in religious leaders, and that's where they come in. I say that 4 things we tackle is intellectual development, mm-hmm, is financial development, spiritual development, and emotional development. Because as a leader, you must have these 4 components working in your life. You can't say you're an effective leader, but you don't know how to relate with your fellow human beings, which is emotional development. Your emotional quotient must be very high. You can't say you're a leader and you don't know how to solve your financial problems. And you're sitting on, imagine a president of a nation begging for food. Say, I can't eat. It doesn't add up. Do you understand what I'm saying now? So you must know how to generate funds. Or maybe as a governor, they tell you we can't send federal allocation again. You must know how to use your IGR to sustain your state. That's part of the things we're teaching there. Then you talk about intellectual development, which has to do with intellectual capacity, and then spiritual development, because every leader must be spiritually sound. So we're partnering with them. And they are going to come in this year's summit again. You're going to see them there. Because you cannot transform a society without you, first of all, being transformed as a person. And that's where spiritual transformation comes in. Okay, time is never enough, but tell me, how did you make this decision that you want to spend a better part of your life training young people, mentoring them. Why did you reach that decision?
Okay, this is the passion that I'm willing to spend my all to see it. In fact, the dream is the assignment I have is a new Nigeria is possible. Mm-hmm. Why? I am among the few Nigerians that still believe that there is still light at the end of the tunnel, no matter how dark the nation looks like right now. I still believe that a new Nigeria is possible. I always tell people that, see, there is nothing wrong with us as a country. Every country is like a brand new vehicle, right? And a leader is like the driver. So do you know that you can buy a brand new car and I don't know how to drive? You give me the key. Instead of matching brake, I'll go and hit throttle and I'll smash the car that same day. I say this car is malfunctioning. That I'm trying to match brake and this. The same thing. If you give a leader that doesn't have that transformational agenda, they will not lead this thing. So what drove me to this thing is an experience I had as a young boy. My mom was a devoted teacher. And every day she leaves for school, they say school must open by 7 o'clock. And every time I come back from higher institution and say, Mommy, we need money for school. She says she doesn't have money. I say, why? He said they've not paid them salary. She's dedicated, she's doing her own job, but her principals, the people that she's working with, is not doing the other. And I was there complaining, and I have this thing in my heart and say, stop complaining, you can do something about that. Start a school that raises transform leaders so that when they have that opportunity, that money is not missing. There is money for that, but probably, who knows, I'm not in the system. Maybe someone is sitting on it, or maybe fixed it to generate whatever that is making them too old. I don't know how the system works. But I said, instead of sitting down there to complain, because I found that a complaint doesn't solve problem. Mm-hmm. What solves problem is somebody taking an action.
Do something
towards that problem you are complaining about. If you complain from Nancy to Mama, you won't solve it. And that's how we began this journey. We started as far back as 2010, but we started as a group and now formed a team 4 years ago. We've been running this since 2010, but at a low-key level. But we came out to the space. People got to know us from 4 years ago, yeah.
Iken, I must thank you for coming, and joining me later is Agonsi Uche Kuntash, who is the Chairman Planning Committee of your conference coming up on the 26th of April. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, sir.
We'll take a break, and when we return, Uche Kuntash, Chairman Planning Committee, will be joining the conversation. Don't go away. It's still full day, your late night show on Signature TV. And we're talking about the conference that is coming on Saturday, where we are expecting thousands of youths to come together and talk about how we can raise a new generation of youths. And I've been joined now by Agonsi Uche Kuntash, who is the Chairman Planning Committee of the conference. Thank you, Uche, for coming.
Thank you so much, sir.
Tell us about this conference. I mean, Ikenna has talked about the thought behind it. What drove a number of young men like you and him to, start this movement? Tell me specifically about Saturday the 26th. What are we expecting? What is going to happen?
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Like on Saturday 26th, we are gathering close to 600 youths in one venue, and it's not easy to manage them, but we've developed over this year is a mechanism of managing them. Like what we're doing, that theme of this year is to produce the total leader. Mm-hmm. Like our name implies, transformational leaders movement. We don't want to raise leaders alone. We want to raise transform leaders, because only a transformed leader can transform society. Like this thing, we've done it for past 4 years. It started before obedient movement. Mm-hmm. So we saw that Nigeria, a new Nigeria is possible. So we started on our own, started gathering youths. We've gotten a lot of mentors behind us, like Chief Pete Edochie, is our grand patron. Mm-hmm. We have Pastor Norbert Onaga, who is in Netherlands. He's part of it. We have Belisa. We've built a lot of board of trustees who equally helps us in running mentorship for these young men. Now, we had a lot of challenges. So this year is more modified, because this year we're taking it to International Conference Center, which is now bigger and has a bigger capacity to accommodate the young people. Like this year, I want to touch the 4 areas of life that helps the youth to stand better. I want to talk about the emotional presence in their life, because we've found out that a lot of suicide is going on. People have given up. Some people don't even believe in relationship anymore. You miss young people, you ask them, say, I don't believe in love, I don't believe in relationships. So a lot of relationship is dying, and most of our legacies are being swept under the carpet. We are not only raising political leaders, no, we are raising total leaders. Like in entertainment industry, we look for the best who are succeeding in that area to come and help us groom them. In business, we look for real people who has really succeeded in the business to come and help train them. So it's not something we are doing alone. We are collaborating with experts in that field who now comes. And some of our sections are like fire chats, where we now bring experts in that field. You to have the audience to ask them direct questions, and they will answer. And at the end of the day, mentorship is being built so that can continue after the program.
Let me ask how you choose your mentors. Is there a process? Is there a scientific process that makes it possible for you to choose mentors who understand the story you're telling, who understand the vision and the mission of building total leaders? How do you choose your mentor? Is it just because somebody has succeeded in making a lot of money, or is it that because you see the trajectory and the journey and the road this person has traveled? How do you identify the mentors who would mentor these young people?
Thank you so much for that question. And like when you come to entertainment industry, I was there. I joined movie industry way back 2000 to 2003. I have been in the process. We saw a lot of scandals that goes on. But someone like Peter Doche, you can't record a scandal against his name. So we looked at him, we took time, we met him. He has mentored me, and I saw his impact in my life. I survived the industry because of some of the few things he told me. So now we met him. We said, sir, you are an advocate of good behavior, good deeds. This is what we are doing. We want you to be our grand patron. We signed an agreement with him. Mm-hmm. We have a video section where he was talking to the youth. He shared some of his life stories. Most people don't know he lives in Enugu. Most people didn't know he worked in broadcasting industry before he joined movie industry. So some of his stories are some of the things he has working from the north until he got into broadcasting to railway. When youth hear those stories, it inspires them. So that this man has a story. And when it comes to education, like we choose Mrs. Melissa Chukwuma. She pioneered the Pinecrest School, and now she has built one of the thriving schools in Anambra. So we now watch how she was able to survive that trend before we cannot bring you on board and say you're going to be a mentor. It's not because of the amount of wealth you gather. Like this year's selection, so you know, I have known you for a very long time, and you're one of the speakers. And we didn't choose because of your name, but we choose because of the legacies you left behind. In those things you have been in, you always stand out. You build so many things, you've done things in the past. So we invited you not because you now had a television, but this is a dream you had over 25 years ago. And today you've come to pass. So when youth ask you things like broadcasting, how do I survive the water? You can talk to them by closing your eyes. You can talk to them from the tip of your finger. It's not something you now say, let me go and search from this book, let me go and read this book and now talk to you. So in selecting our mentors, look for the people who have survived in that field that the youth want to get into. And then we now ask them, please come and help us. Because one thing in this nation is succession. You can be a good leader, but whoever takes over from you can destroy all you have built for these years. So in that mentorship, we look for people who have done well in that field. Now come and mentor these thriving young men who wants to aspire to be like you. Now show them the tricks, the roads, so they can now walk and go far. Because one other day says, if you want to go far, you start with the shoulder people that's gone ahead of you to go far.
I did ask Iken what the challenges are, But the challenge I'm going to ask you about is, what are the challenges of organizing a conference like this? Ikenna told us that, look, yes, we have mentors who are identified, but unfortunately, a lot of them are not bringing money. So what are the challenges you have? Of course, I know you have the challenges of finance. What are the other challenges that you have in organizing, in putting together thousands of youths over this past 4 years? What challenges are there? What are the roadblocks?
Yeah, I can tell you the challenges by even closing my eye, because I've been the chairman. I know sometimes we have sleepless nights. The major one is finance, because one thing about youth is, the youth of today, one of our challenges with them is quick fix. They want it done now. They don't want to go through the process. They want finished products. And sometimes when you invite them to come and learn, they now ask you, what is in for me? Like this year, we are gathering youths, we are feeding them, registration is free. They are not paying anything. At the same time, some of them are even asking, what are you giving us to go home with? Apart from the knowledge they've gathered, they've gotten. And sometimes some of this program is self-sponsored. Me and my friends and colleagues who are in the professional leaders movement, we contribute our own money, secure the hall, sometimes invite some of the guests, book a hotel for them. You know, it's not easy to feed 600 youths, and we're not feeding them with tea. We're giving them solid food, because don't expect you that will come to the conference by 9 o'clock and the program closes by 5 and you give them meat pie. They invite you.
Is it that you have not been reaching out to individuals, maybe philanthropic individuals? You've not been reaching out to government? You've not been reaching out to organizations for sponsorship? Why, after 4 years, you're still the one funding it from your pockets?
Yeah, there is one challenge we had one day. We met a man, we know he's well-to-do, and he has an estate. We wrote to him, explained this vision. He said, there's hunger in the land. Why are you training them? Just give them money to start up something. I said, sir, we've tried that. We found that when you give them that, they will finish it and come back. But when you teach them the process of sustaining it, it will last.
When you prepare them.
When you prepare them, when you groom them.
Just like when you're planting.
Yes.
And you need to prepare the soil.
Yes. That was how we came with this Igbo system of one boy. We now told him that God doesn't take one boy from his father's house and give him money to start up business. He will squander that money. Because we discovered 100,000 in the hand of one boy who has served a master, and 100,000 in the hand of a young man that just graduated from university with first class. They don't produce the same results. The other guy has learned financial management. He has learned how to grow wealth. Well, this one just
he has seen his Oga manage.
Yes, he knows that every 1 naira you remove for 1 million is not 1 million. It's 900 and. But other people, they just, the money is there. Only for them to turn around and say, somebody stole my money. Nobody stole your money, you've been spending it. So that's the mystery. So sometimes our people don't invest until they start seeing results. We visit the government, we've done all those things. Sometimes people will be promising you till the end of the program, they say, we could have come here. Now some people even make verbal promise, we'll give you 100,000. At the end of the day, they won't even bring the money. You know, sometimes people even ask them, why don't you put your logo? And sometimes when people, elections start coming closer now, they start looking for youths. Some of them will not approach us. Hey, there are those youths you will doing to do elections. That's not what we're doing.
That's not your style.
No, that's not our style of gather people that come and vote for you. No. Let's train these people so that in future, they will preserve the legacy that we've taught them.
Okay. Specifics once again. What time are we expecting participants to be at this conference? And how long is the conference? And what are the different segments of the conference on Saturday?
Okay, we tend to start by 9. So we just start from 9 to 9:30. So from 9:30 we'll do the casting of the vision, telling the young people why the conference is what it should be. From 10 o'clock, the first speaker starts in. We have about 6 speakers. We're going to talk about 6 different aspects of life. We're going to talk about mental health. Because we've discovered a lot of young men are into drugs. Some even bring the socks away and inhale. Some parents have tried, and that's not like a menace. We have experts who need to talk to them. We are equally coming on mentorship. You know, that word mentors are bastardized. Today, young men are messed up in the hand of so-called mentor. We've discovered that people now gather young men and say, I want to mentor them, only to use them as slave.
Or teach them how to do 419.
Or sometimes I use this word. The mentor now are their tormentors.
Oh, great.
So
I like that one.
So some of those things, chaotic disorder, we want to teach them. How do you discover the right mentor? Like one of the things you're going to learn is that any man that is afraid of your success can never mentor you. Because the joy of a father is that the son should become greater than him. But today we'll find out that when you see opportunities from a young growing man, you won't allow him. You want him to always be a servant. You don't want him to grow to be a leader. And you can't be a good mentor. I met a lecturer who was lecturing in school. And he doesn't teach the student his skill. He said, this is my style. I want to hide it. I met him and said, sir, you are destroying this student. If you want to keep your style, stop lecturing. Keep your style. Start doing studio practice. But if you want to be a lecturer, they are paying your school fees for you to teach them that thing that produces you. So that man is associating them. That man can be a good mentor. So we now want to show them the dangers of being in the wrong mentorship. Things how to discover the right mentor. These are some of the things that we will even learn there. We're going to do a fire chat where they will not ask questions with men who have succeeded in that field they know. A lot of them I want to go into entertainment because of this social media thing, TikTok. Most of them wants to do, I want to join, I want to act movie. And sometimes you see some people don't even know how to appear before the camera. They'll be looking at the camera. Some don't even know how to do the script management. So that's where we will now bring experts in that entertainment who will now teach them. Because some of these things that they monetize, if they want to learn, some people will be calling them millions of naira. But want to, because one day, as we are going, if government will start sponsoring us or individuals start adding weight to what we are doing, some of these programs should not be one day. It should be like 4 days because you can't finish all this I'm saying in one full day. That's why the program is starting from 9 and it's ending by 5. We are trying as much as we can to squeeze in program to help them to have a bite of the things we are keeping for them.
So after your conferences, is there a way you reduce them into literature, like a book? Let's say the conference of 2024. You have it in a book, reduced to a book, where if I want to know what happened in 2024, I can either go online or I could have a hard copy. Do you have things like that, or is this something you're looking forward to doing?
Yes, it's something we're looking forward to do because we have a program content director. And you know, to do all those things, you need documentaries. Like sometimes most of the photographers we trained, when you now ask them, please help me come and cover this program, they say, what is in for us? And some of them will be asking you, give me as much as 100,000, 200,000. They are not the one bringing camera. You have the camera. Just show your professionalism. You taught them free,
but they want to monetize. They don't understand, you know, the vision or the mission of what you're doing?
You know, sometimes
or is it that they don't have a buy-in? They don't understand what's going on.
You know, in this society, people tell you the level of poverty. That will I eat by doing free work every year? I'm training these young men. What is? Because some of them that joined us earlier thought something will start coming out by now. Some of them are even left. They thought when we start, government will hear us. They'll start giving us funds. They'll start sharing. So now these things are not coming. And you know, the strength of vision is the ability to cut the vision. Vision sustains you. One day the vision will start feeding you if you can hold on to it. So some of them along the line has fallen off. Some are still holding on, believing that this thing will not achieve in one day. So in line with what you said, is something you want to do in the future. So at the end of the day, somebody can go to the archive and say, okay, this is how we started, this is where we are, this is where we are going.
Finally, if I'm a youth and I'm coming to the conference on the 26th, at the end of it, what would you say is what I'm taking away?
Yeah, I like the question because one thing, the picture I've always had in my mind on this conference, because I know the speakers that are coming, I've engaged with them.
There are not people that are going to come that and tell you. According to John Maxwell, slide 52, John Maxwell said, not I have experienced it. They are not that kind of speaker. They are coming to share their life experience. Like last year, Nane Boy was on the show. When he stood up and shared his own life story, the youth went, let me use this word, mad. Because they saw a man who has a real life story they can reach, they can handle, they can feel. So you mean, there's this young guy we brought, Chibuza Abana. The guy is an example of a failure. He so failed that even failed people, poverty people, are using him as an example. But today the guy has succeeded. He's one of the people that are going to appear in Big Brother's show. But the guy, when he now tells them his story, I borrowed money,
turned his life around.
In school I failed, in primary school I failed, secondary school I failed, even in university they had to do what we call mass graduation for him. So he looks like a write-off. But along the line something happened because he attached himself to a mentor who really mentored him. Today now the guy controls millions. And when he tells the youth his story, we always want the youth, they feel inspired, they feel there's hope for them. Because some youths coming to this conference have been damaged by parents, damaged by society. You see a young girl, parents will tell her, you are nothing, you won't amount to anything. And the next thing that will come into our mind is, let me just join people in the streets. And sometimes we go on street and do interview. You find most of them that are there feel betrayed. Some of them don't even have that self-worth.
So it's like a rescue mission.
It's a rescue mission. So if they come for this conference, they will go home a transformed leader, but not totally, because it will happen in one day.
Agon Suche Kuntash, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, sir.
I wish you and your colleagues the best.
Thank you, sir.
Some of us will be joining you. We look forward to sharing our stories and hoping that the young ones that you're going to bring will learn one thing or the other.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, sir.
And a big invitation to you, if you're watching, that you are expected to come, even if you're not a youth, come and support. The event is happening at the brand new International Conference Center in Enugu, and it's on Saturday, and kickoff time is 9 a.m. Don't go away, our show continues in a moment when we talk about Development as Attitude, a book by Professor Obu. Don't go away. Today at the International Conference Center, there was a national dialogue on a new book, not a brand new book, by Professor Osito Obu, former economic advisor to the president, former director, Institute of Development Studies at UNN, consultant, teacher, mentor, and all that. He, talked to Nigerians about his new book, Development as Attitude, in a program put together by the Nigerian Summit Group. Let's take, some excerpt from the event today, and then to talk about it is our correspondent who covered that event at the International Conference Center. But let's start with a part of what happened earlier.
What motivated you to write this particular book?
First of all, thank you, Nana. I want to seize this opportunity to also appreciate the audience for being here. I also want to thank the NESG. As I was telling someone, I am also a guest of the NESG. I didn't choose this venue, I didn't plan it. They planned, they chose, they also invited me. So it's a great honor for us to be having this conversation around this simple book. Nana, what motivated me? Over the years, we've been writing, we've been researching, we've been publishing, I finished my PhD in 19.
Yes, joining me to talk about development as attitude and the dialogue that we had earlier today at the International Conference Center on the book by Professor Sitobu is Lillian Wale, Signature TV correspondent, who was actually at the ICC earlier today. Tell us what happened at that national dialogue.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. So, Signature TV were there live to cover the event. So we began with the arrival of all the guests, including delegates from Enugu State Government House, and other professors, scholars, elder statesmen, men that matter in Enugu State, in collaboration with NESG, that's the Nigerian Economic Summit Group. Okay, they were the ones that collaborated with Professor Obu, to see that the book launch would be successful. So during that summit, or should I say event, they started with opening remarks, and then they brought Professor Obu to the stage, where Nana, who is the moderator, asked him a whole lot of questions, in regards to the book and the ideology.
What did the NESG say was the reason behind that focus on the book, to share it to a larger audience? What are they trying to do with that book?
Okay, I think they were trying to create a different perspective, especially for leaders, the leadership of Nigeria, with the way the economy is right now in Nigeria. They wanted something different for people, especially people in school, universities. So they wanted to, put it out to the public. And it's a non-governmental organization, with other people, in collaboration with other people.
How do you think those are that, there were diverse,
conversations,
specialists and name it that were there. How do you think they received this national discourse?
Okay, I had a conversation with a Reverend Father that was there, which I was supposed to interview. He threw a whole lot, a lot of more light to why we were there. He said that his perception about Nigeria changed. And then another lady that sat close to me, everything, we used to have this thought that everybody that goes into politics is there to take. I'm here for my own share. I'm here for my national cake. But that book gave us a different view. Why leaders should go into politics,
and what they need to do.
And what you need to do.
Okay, we're almost rounding us of our program tonight, but before we do that, our guest earlier in our program, gave us reason for our footnote tonight. So let's take our footnote, and then I'll ask you one more last question and we'll end the program. They say the child who is not embraced by the village will burn the village down. But what if the village taught the child to lead instead of burning, the society down? In a world racing towards the future, it is the youth who hold the compass, brave, bold, and bursting with ideas. Leadership, they say, is not just about taking charge. It's about stepping up, standing out, and pulling others up as you rise. Because when the young are empowered, nations don't just grow, they transform. Youth development is not a charity. It is a seed sown into the soil of destiny and inclusion. That is the soul of progress. For what is a table if not a place where every voice, no matter how young or old, different, is heard? A masquerade without all its dancers is only a half story. So tonight, as the stars take their post and the world slows its pace, let us not merely speak of youth. We must invest in them, include them, follow their lead. For the leaders of tomorrow aren't waiting. They are already here, writing history with their feet planted firmly in today. The question left is, are we wise enough to listen? Well, that's our footnote. and I guess bringing us to the end of our program tonight. Thank you, Lillian, for coming. I'm Vinmartin Obiroa in Enugu, Nigeria, thanking you for another wonderful evening on Food Day, your late night show on Signature TV.